The Sixers are still alive. That's what Paul George said after the game last night, and he is right. After the Sixers beat the Celtics to force a Game 7, that'll be on Saturday. Paul George had 23 points himself. Tyrese Maxey at 30. Joel Embiid added a double-double. Philadelphia wins 106-93. Here was Embiid after the win.
I mean, I've been playing these guys for so long. I'm tired of losing to them. So we have a chance to accomplish, something special. I mean, they're a great team, and you look at everything they have. That's a super team. So we just got to go in there with the mindset we've had for the last, 2 games.
The 76ers were down 3-1 in this series, and now they've evened it out. They're going to a Game 7. Perk, how impressed are you with the turnaround in Philly?
I'm very impressed. So impressed that I believe that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win this series. I believe that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to upset the Boston Celtics and advance to the semifinals to play the New York Knicks. Because what I'm seeing right now, and I understand Joe Mazzulla is stuck in his ways when it comes to his offensive system. He's going to continue to shoot a lot of threes, but it's the defensive side of the basketball that concerns me. One, they have no answer for Tyrese Maxey. He has been doing whatever he wants, has been the ultimate floor general. And all of a sudden, Joel Embiid comes back unexpectedly. No one expected that. Okay, he looked horrible, in my opinion, and still had like 20-plus points in Game 3. But what he did in Game 4 and 5 and 6, I mean, I'm sitting up here saying to myself, well, damn. And he exposing the weakness of the Celtics. Nimi Cato has been doing an outstanding job this regular season. Vucevic, we already know what he's capable of bringing, but damn it, they not bringing it. And I got a concern there. And I also got a concern, hey, man, we've been giving a lot of praise to Jaylen Brown.
Oh, that's where I was going.
But damn it, you got to step the hell up. What you're doing right now is popular. You have to be powerful. Paul George on Jaylen Brown has been having him in a straitjacket. And when the Celtics are not knocking down shots, Stephen A., they go to Jaylen Brown for isolation, and he hasn't been able to get it done. And he has to rise to that occasion. He finished, in my opinion, should have finished top 5 in MVP votes. He was. You got to show it, because Jason Tatum has done an outstanding job since coming back, of somewhat taking a back seat to Jaylen Brown and saying, hey, man, I'm not in your way. Do your thing. Right. Well, the stage is set. You got to dance. You got to dance.
MB3. Go ahead, Stephen A.
Excuse me. Sorry about that, Shay.
The only issue I had with that soliloquy is that my lawyer, Johnny, texted me to say that your spring outfit is looking clean and is looking better than mine. Other than that, I ain't have no problem with anything that you said. I don't have no problem with that. I mean, she giving you that kind of love. Here's the reality of the situation. The Sixers and the way they looked last night and the way they've looked over the last 2 games, I will say this. Although I'm extremely confident in my New York Knicks, we prepped to beat Boston. We weren't prepped to face what we're seeing from these Sixers over the last 2 to 3 games. Maxey is shooting better than 50% from the field, averaging over 25 a game. Okay, Paul George had 23 last night, and by the way, we're sitting there and talking about the 4-year max deal that he got. Well, guess what? The Clippers are home. Paul George is still playing, and if Philadelphia win this series, then we got to take everything back about how suspect the move may have been to give him the 4 years, because Paul George is showing up when it counts on both ends of the floor. Jaylen Brown was a minus 24 last night. A minus 24. That can't happen for an MVP candidate. That cannot happen. All right? And, oh, by the way, Jason Tatum is saying his leg was just stiff. Let me tell you what my concern is. All joking aside, because as much as I want my Knicks to win, I love Jason Tatum. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't want to get injured or whatever. He tore his Achilles in one leg. Well, the calf is the other. And sometimes while you're rehabbing all of these months, you may have overcompensated. So you never, ever know what that is really about. And so we got to monitor that and how ready Jason Tatum is going to be for this Game 7, because I got news for you. The Sixers team that we're seeing with Maxey, with Embiid, with Paul George, with VJ Edgecombe
and Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre and these brothers, they could go into Boston and win a Game 7. Boston better bring their A game. And Missoula, listen, you won't change. You're going to go down with the ship, launching those threes. It hasn't worked over the last 2 games.
And I'm gonna say this to the Celtics and the medical staff and everybody. I'm not gonna question them because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
But I also been through a lot of injuries and a lot of surgeries. And I tore my ACL, okay? And what the doctor told me is that, hey, Perk, the only bad news, your surgery was great, your recovery was great. The only bad news that I have for you is that you got a higher percentage of tearing your other ACL because you overcompensate on that leg.
Yep.
And so when you think about what you just said with Tatum, hey, look, if he's feeling any type of discomfort, he might have to sit out Game 7.
Right.
It's not worth the risk, to be honest with you. I understand you looking at it and you saying, hey, we could possibly make a finals run, but again, when you're talking about the longevity and you're talking about a guy that you've invested $300+ million in, you have to protect your have to protect your investment. I hope he's able to play. We want to see the stars and superstars on the floor, but don't take any discomfort.
Right.
Sit your behind down.
Last point on that point, piggybacking off of Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown was an MVP candidate this year because of how he performed without Jason Tatum. And what I'm saying is a Game 7 in Boston, fresh off a year in which y'all got taken out by the New York Knicks. Remember, Jason Tatum goes down in Game 4 against the Knicks last year. Boston romped the Knicks in Boston in Game 5. And then the Knicks came back and won Game 6. Well, here you are, Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum might be hobbled. They might not want to take that risk. It might not be advisable. Jaylen Brown, can you win a game, one game, by yourself, Game 7? Can you do that? Because that may very well be asked of him Saturday in Boston. That's what MVPs are made of.
And also, it's a quick turnaround, too, for the Boston Celtics. After Game 7, they're going to have to play the Knicks likely on Monday. Like, it's not like they're going to get 3 days rest now that they have to go to a Game 7.
We just talking about one Game 7.
That's right, one game. But I'm saying if the Boston Celtics have to play then the Knicks, it's a very quick turnaround here. You got games every other day. So I heard Perk say, Perk, you think the 76ers are going to come out of this series?
I do. I hope I'm wrong because, you know, the bias in me is to lean with Green. But, man, what the 76ers are showing me on both ends of the floor, because it's not just the Celtics just missing three-point shots. They're making them miss three-point shots. The perimeter defense all across the board for the Philadelphia 76ers have been on point. And, again, Joel Embiid has exposed the Boston Celtics interior, those big men. And that's a concern for me. If he comes into that game, because it's going to be an afternoon, it's probably going to be a night game, okay, 7:30 or whatever. If he comes into it, which we just heard that he really has it on his mind to go in there and get it done. And that's concerning to me. And even if the Celtics get past the Philadelphia 76ers,
They ain't beating the Knicks.
No, they're not beating the New York Knicks.
They ain't beating the Knicks.
They're not beating the New York. They're not beating the New York Knicks.
Knicks are taking them out again. And, oh, by the way, another thing, because we got love for Jaylen Brown. We got love for Jaylen Brown, and he was an MVP candidate this year. He was something special.
Yeah.
Here's Jaylen Brown's career in Game 7s. 16.5 points a game on 44% shooting. That is not going to cut it this Saturday. Jaylen Brown is going to have to look like a superstar in order for the Boston Celtics to beat the Philadelphia 76ers in Game 7. Because let me tell you something. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, Joel Embiid. Here's what I'm willing to bet my money on. All of them ain't going to show up. All of them ain't going to fail to show up.
Right.
Somebody going to show up for them. Somebody going to show up for Philly. Who's going to show up for Boston?
It need to be Derek White.
Okay.
Derek White.
I believe in him. I believe in him, but you can't ask him to be the guy.
No. I'm not saying that. But, you know, role players play better at home. And here's another thing why I'm concerned. Let me say this. The thing is this, S.A., home court advantage used to mean something in Boston.
Man, no.
In this postseason, I got concerns
In the
because they
Missoula
didn't lost 2 games this series
Right.
in Boston. That don't usually happen in the B.
In the Missoula era, they've been better on the road than they've been at home. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm saying, wait a minute now, you the Sixers, you got to look at this. And then you bring up Derek White. Derek White ain't even averaging 10 points a game in the series, and he shoot 31%. Guess what? I think that, I have total faith in him, but this Game 7, considering the tightness in the leg of Jason Tatum, considering how we've seen the other pieces, this is about Jaylen Brown. This is about Jaylen Brown reminding us all that y'all saw from me this season, it was real. It was real. I'm still that dude. He's got to do it. And even then, it might not be enough because Maxey, George, VJ, and Joel Embiid, that's 4. There's no way that all 4 of them ain't going to show up.
Right. Yep.
At least 2 of them going to show up to Saturday night. I'm telling you. But Jaylen Brown going to have to show up.
To your point, too, the 76ers are going to try to win 3 straight playoff games in Boston. It would be